Well, in news coming in on the much anticipated Indo-Pakistan bilateral series, sources have now told India Today that the Indo-Pakistan series has to start by the 18th of December. Otherwise, it would not be possible to execute the series. The BCCI, meanwhile, has urged the government that it has to decide in the right direction in view of Sushma Swaraj's visit to Pakistan, and perhaps a decision could be made anytime soon.
It's very important that you talk about terror, trade, and other ties between your with Pakistan. But at the same time, you also have to look at the environment, what people think, how is the environment in the country. I think if you look at the NSA talks and Sushma ji's visit to Pakistan, this is a positive step in the right direction.
Okay, consulting editor now joins us for more on this of India Today, Rajdeep Sardesai. Rajdeep, so the BCCI clearly there waiting, bated breath for any decision, but can we expect any announcement from the government on this matter?
I think it's up in the air. It's a 50-50 call at the moment. The sources that I have spoken to said no final decision yet has been taken and time is clearly running out. What BCCI sources say is that the tour must start by the 18th at least if the two sides are to play and 3 one-dayers and 2 T20s before they leave then for Australia. So the original plan was to have this series between the 18th of December and the 1st of January. And for that, time is running out. So the BCCI says they've received no firm signals from the government, and whether an announcement will come immediately is still uncertain. Clearly, much depends on how the meeting goes and whether the two sides can actually come to some kind of a broad architecture to take the dialogue forward. So cricket will not take place in isolation from the other aspects of the dialogue. So if the dialogue goes well, then there is a possibility. If there are some impediments that still remain in the final statement, then cricket could still be a casualty. So it's still up in the air whether this series will actually take place.
But interestingly, Rajdeep, the Pakistan government has given its assent to the series, but obviously they are in limbo following its counterpart's silence on this matter. What about the constraints that the BCCI are experiencing as a result of this, indecisiveness on part of the Indian government?
Look, I think what BCCI sources say is that the Prime Minister himself is very keen that if the series take place, that he and Nawaz Sharif are both on the same page as far as this is concerned. But obviously, when you take a decision to hold a series with Pakistan in the present atmosphere, there will be pulls and pressures on both sides. And I don't think the government has been able to reach a solution, which is why the BCCI has been waiting for over a week now to actually get the final nod, and that hasn't come. And really, it's the next 24 hours. If within the next 24 hours no decision is reached, then it appears a series is unlikely. Having said that, there is a lot of pressure, which is a commercial pressure, particularly on the Pakistan Cricket Board and to some extent on the Indian Cricket Board, to have this series, because it is obviously a lucrative proposition to hold the Indo-Pak series. So I think that pressure is also there, but eventually this decision will be taken on the basis of how well the talks between Sushma Swaraj and Sartaj Aziz actually go. And,
Rajdeep, my final question to you, if I know this is conjecture, but if they do get that nod, how significant would the India-Pakistan bilateral cricket series be for the relationship between the two nations?
Look, cricket, frankly, has always been in some way or the other hostage to what happens in Indo-Pak relations. So when a cricket series is played, it helps improve the relations for a while. Then, God forbid, there is some terror strike or violence, and then again cricket becomes the first casualty.
True.
So if the cricket series does take place, it will be seen as a positive sign, a sign that the two countries want to get the dialogue process back on track. But I think the Indian side in particular to keep expectations low this time, which is why much of the dialogue has taken place behind the scenes. They don't want to make any big-ticket announcements that eventually turn and boomerang on them. So I think it's a much more cautious approach that the government of India is making, which is why it's still uncertain whether this tour will actually take place or not.
Very interesting. Rajdeep Sardesai, thank you so much for joining us and sharing with us all that information regarding the Indo-Pakistan cricket series, a decision that is yet to be taken by the Indian government.